In this video, we're going to introduce the chapter 2, the basic data types, variables, and simple IOs. Um, so the objectives of today is the variables. So we're going to understand what is variable and the basic data types. There are three types. The first one is string, and then numerical types. Um, and then we are going to the basic types are actually two, string and numeric types, and then we have the functions, and we're going to also learn how to convert the strings to integer and integer to string, and get input from the users to create interactive programs. So first is variable. So what is a variable? What a variable means is basically means there's a piece of memory, and then you're going to have a name pointed to that piece of memory. So that's called a variable, and the name, it tells you the value of that piece of memory can change. That's why the value is vary from time to time. That's why the whole thing is called variables. You can actually create variables. So this is example. Use the variable is called name, and the value is actually nary. Nary actually will be stored in the memory. However, the name is pointed to that piece of memory, and later we can assign another, let's say Zhang Dou, to this name. So that will be a different value for this name variable. So since variable is widely used almost all the time, we're going to deal with the variable. The beauty or the benefit of the variable is we can use that piece of memory, we can store data, we can manipulate the data. So then how do we correctly name variables? There are three rules for legal variable names. Three general rules. Number one is that the variables can contains only three types of characters. It can be numbers, it can be letters, and only underscore as a special character is allowed. So numbers, letters, and underscore. That's it. However, a variable cannot start with a number. It cannot be a keyword or reserved word. For example, print. Print, we saw in the previous examples that this print is actually a command that is only used by Python. So whenever you type the print, it's meaning one thing. That's actually a reserved keyword. So keyword is actually built-in word of a special meaning, with a special meaning. Here's examples of legal names. This one is okay, it's full of letters. The letters, when we say the letters, it's including both uppercase letter and lowercase letter. Okay, uppercase letter and the lowercase letter. So this one is also okay. It has letters and a number, and this one is also okay. Has letters, underscore, and letters. The example of illegal names, this one is illegal. Why? Because it has the question mark. Question mark is not allowed. And the second one, second player, it's also allowed. Don't allowed, because it starts with a number. That's violate rule number 2. Print, it's also a violation because this is a reserved keywords. So, and then naming the variables, there are normally some convention you can follow to make the code easier to read by the other programmers and for yourself in the future. So you can choose the descriptive names like score instead of S, or you gotta be consistent about the name style. For example, if you are using underscore to separate the two words, you gotta follow the same pattern. Or you can capitalize a word that will make it consistent and easy to read. And follow some traditions. Some names begin with underscore normally has a special meaning, meaning some special methods you don't want to change, like underscore underscore main underscore underscore. That means it's actually a predefined methods. And keep the length in check. You don't want to define a variable that is super long. You probably spend like hours to type a name, right? A simple variable names. That's not a wise way. And normally it's gonna be a self-documenting code. So the name of the variable will explain the meaning of the piece of memory, right? So after the variable, then we can actually do the string. For string, you can use, normally we're going to use the quotes. You can use simple quotes or double quotes. Actually, we can practice all of those. So if you are making something like those names, you actually can, while you're doing those, you can actually practice in your notebook. For example, right here, I'm right here. I can make in my own example. I'm gonna say, okay, number one. I'm gonna call this as lecture or lab one. Lab one variable and the string and numbers, right? And the numbers. So in here, I can do a variable first, right? So I'm going to say variable. So, and then I will do a good example. Good examples. You can try something like I'm going to say A. Even A is good. A is 1, and then I print. I can inspect A's value, and then you're going to see it's good. I'm going to say a score equals 99, and which is also good, even I didn't inspect it, or some others score first round, right? First round, right? ST. Let's say first round it's 9, and score second is 8, is 9, and or I can do underscore tradition, right? Tradition is 100. So all of those names are good names, or you can do other type of variable names. Let's say camel. I'm going to do an example of camel style is good, right? I'm going to type something like good, right? So, or some other Linux style, it's going to be, this is Linux or Unix style. Because Linux, Unix, they don't like spaces. They use underscore to separate two words. So all of them, the names are good. Now we're going to show some bad examples. And here you can do something like, for example, you can do something called one first score. How about this? First score. And then this one is 9, and then you run, it's gonna see it's called invalid syntax. That means it's bad. Or you can do something like a question why, right? Or second score, or why question, right? Is hey, how much is 1 plus 1, right? So this one, it's gonna give you a question mark. Here you're gonna see the question mark give you some problems. It says the object is not found, so it's still an error. So those are good examples of variables. And then you can do the other ones is called a string. That's what we're gonna do right now as example for string. So let's say on the slides. So strings normally has the user using the quotes. So we are defining the string. Normally you're going to start with a single quote or double quote. They're the same. However, you cannot mix them together, like beginning as a single quote and end with the double quote. That's not allowed. And well, triple quote is different meaning. Means you are commenting multiple lines. Well, line continuation character is just a slash. For example, I'm gonna type this in the notebook, see what's gonna happen. So this is a comment. So when I type this, it's just create a span of multiple lines. It's not commenting, I'm sorry. It's s equals this, right? So let's say what's s value. What's s's value? So you're gonna see that you have a /n means new 9, then im, it's another 9, and then s. And then if you want to use something like this, right, you can simply just type one example of combination. You can do something like s is this, and then you print s. So you're gonna see that this s is the game over has a single quote string. So this is a quotation inside a string. Let's put that way, okay? And 9 continuation means if you have a 9, for example, if I have 9-1 is I'm gonna type something like this is not finished yet slash, then I can strike another one. I say we continue here. So let's print the line 1. Let's inspect the value of line 1. You're gonna see this is one single quote, and here even has no space between yet and we. So this means it's continuing this line, okay? This is called the 9 string continuation. String continuation, okay? So, and we have the escape and the sequence. Escape the sequences. Escape the sequences will be something you're gonna see pretty often when you're dealing with the string. You have double slash means 2 backsplashes means the print just the one backsplash. /n means print slash single quote, just print this the single quote. Same thing, slash double quote, print the double quote. /a means alert. /b means back space. /n means new 9. /t means it's actually a horizontal table key. For example, let's take this as an example. If you are doing something, so let's do this sequence escaping. So suppose I have a 9. I want to print the special thanks to somebody, right? And then here you can add other ones like /n, Dr. Yan, for example, right? So what this supposed to give you, it's gonna give you something that is showing. This is oh, here is the problem, that this is a special strange character, because the quotation is not recognized. There are different fonts. So when you copy something, you gotta be careful because the quotation mark is not the same. So I'm gonna put this. So this basically means I'm gonna have new line. So that's why here is nothing, and then special thanks to goes to, special thanks goes out to, and then here is a new line, then Dr. Yan, right? Same thing. You can add other things, like you can do print. Let's say this is aligned, well aligned, and then you put the /t/n, for example, 1/t/a, and 2/n, 2/t, b, and then /n, 3/t, and c. So what this is supposed to give you? It's going to give you well aligned a table, right? So you will notice that you actually have the reason here the one is not giving you the same thing is because it has a space right here. That's why here it's one space is missed. I just add a space right here, so it's gonna make it exactly same. So now it's well aligned, right? So this is example. However, in notebooks, the /a is not working because it is in the client server mode. Okay, so you are not going to see that. Like I'm going to type something like print /a. A is means alarm, right? Means alarm. It's not going to give me that. See, it's nothing happened. You see, but if you want to show that, you can simply just type the same code to the Python command line. You can simply just type the same thing. For example, I'm going to type the same thing, print /a. So when I extract enter, you hear that? It's going to give us the sound. So that's alarm. So this way it will play the sound, okay? And let's continue. And the concatenating or repeating strings of a string that's a concept, concatenating and repeating. So let's have an example for that. Concatenating, right? Connect. I'm going to put the string, it's called connect. And then plus connecting to me, right? And then you just inspect connect. It's going to give you the connect to me. See that? Connect to me. And then if you do something like a connect multiple 3, that will give you connect to me, connecting to me, connect to me, right? Let's repeat 3 times, connect to me. This is 1 time, connect to me. Second time, connect to me 3 times. So that's an example of repeating string. Next one is the ArtScroll art. Sometimes you can print beautiful or interesting art with the ASCII code, meaning use the special captures. You can print that one. This one is actually from the Wikipedia, the picture. You can do that. In your assignments, you are going to do a simple ones, either triangle or some other like simple shape. The string methods. String methods are the built-in methods that are going to use. A general way is you have an object and then you call this method. It can has the str, for example, upper to do upper. I'm just showing you an example of this one, string methods. It's built-in methods. For example, we're gonna do we can do something like string methods, right? We can do str.upper. This is, or just a hello world, right? So when I strike enter, you will find all the lower cases becomes upper cases. Same thing I can do string dot lowercase. I can do test, and then this is gonna give you all lower cases. So those are examples of string methods. Actually, if you type string methods in w3schools.com, in the Python area, you're going to have a lot of the string methods. For example, I'm going to put this way, lab 1. So you're going to see a lot of the string methods reference. You can do capitalize, you can do case fold, you can do center, you can do count, and a lot of them. It's like because string is one of the commonly used data types, so there are probably 50 of them, methods of them. I strongly urge you to go through many of those. For example, the ones that are used often: count, find, index, and is alpha, is number, and is decimal. Those are digits, right? Or is digits. Those are often used ones. Lower case, uppercase, and replace. rfind means right find, right index, right? Strip, split, split. Those are the one very often used. Definitely get a chance to look at them. But right now we just get a basic understanding of the string, and then we're going to visit this string objects later, or string class later. So there are many other ones. Next one is those are the common string methods that are used: upper, lower, swap case, capitalized, strip, and replace. Those two are often used. Strip and replaced are often used. Work with numbers. So this is the how do we work with numbers. We can have integer, we can have floating numbers. We are going to work with them. Those integers are actually the ones that that we count things. It can have negative integers, or positive integers, and zeros. And floating numbers are the ones that we have things like this. We have the decimal points, right? And then even the 0, even it's 1, we're going to put 1.0. That means it's a floating number. Otherwise, it's going to be an integer. If you don't want to type 0, at least you're going to type 1 point. That will indicate it's a floating number. And then mathematical operators, we have a list of them. The the basic operations will be addition, subtraction, and then you have integer division, floating point division, modulus. Modulus is a interesting operation. You're going to do the remainder of integer division, and so this will give you the values of the division, and however it's only return the remainder. And so the common mathematic operators for integers will including those. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So however the values will be a little bit different. So for multiplication is the same. For division, this is called integer division. It will give you keep only the integer part. The modulus will just keep the remainder part. The plus is addition. It's gonna give you the addition. Minus will take the subtraction. So only two ones that is a little bit interesting for integer. This is called integer division. It only keeps the integer part. Well, this is a modulus, only keeps the remainder part of the division. So those two. For the floating points, you are going to see the same 5 operators, and those examples shows what you're going to see, and all the results are the floating numbers. So this one, the division, you're going to see all the precise, the remaining part, the precise decimal parts. Well, this one is going to be even modulus is going to show you a floating style of the remaining, and the addition will give you addition values. Argument assignments operators, that means it's a special way to do those operators, like a star equal, it's same as x equals x times 5. Division equal is same thing as x equals x minus 2. So this one is same as this one. It's just a more concise ways of writing those operators. It basically means the same thing. Using the right type, so we gotta be careful when we're dealing with the numbers. It has to be the right type, right values. Otherwise, it won't work. For example, if you are trying to add 3 to 1, it's not gonna work. I can show you that very quick. Here in this example, let's do a number. Numbers, right? When you adding two numbers, let's say 3 plus 1, this is not going to give you the answer. It has to be the same data type. So you have to convert integer, a string, to int. So by doing that, you have to do int of 3, and then you can do plus 1. This one will give you number 4. Okay. However, if you want to do, let's say 4, then 2 int. You want to convert this to a string. You can. There are many ways to do it. One of the ways is you can do two string. Sorry, you can do 2 strings. It's going to give you a syntax error. So you can do other ways, like print I am number 4, right? I'm number 4. So this will give you some errors. It's because the concatenate is giving you problems, but you can do the right way. you can do IM and then comma number 4. So this will give you IM4, right? This is actually a string, or you can do something like same thing, right? You can do S is str then a 4. So you can show what's the S's value, S plus or IM 4, IM plus, IM plus 4, right? Plus S. Now you're gonna see IM4, the whole thing as a string. So this is convert back and forth, right? So those are examples of conversion. The next one is getting user input and by input methods. Input function is actually a prompt the user with the text input. The return value is actually a string. For example, you type, "Hey, what's your name?" You can get the value of the user. You can get the input of the user. So you can call it input. Like name is input. What is your name? And then you can print whatever the name is. It's gonna type it back. You can type my name is John Doe, right? And you strike enter, it's gonna give you John Doe, the name, right, as a string. So that's basic ones. In this case, you're gonna see that we are actually calling a function, and the function is again it's a collection of code that perform a task or doing a calculation. The arguments will be the ones that you put inside here, inside the parentheses. Those are arguments, and the return value will be the one that you after it's replacing the whole thing, right? What you get, it's a return value, and then you do assignment to the name. So return value is assigned to the name. And our next slides is about how to use the input property. So when we are typing something, for example, we're typing this, how many Lamborghini tune-ups you have, right? We're turning that car to an integer now. Now I can add this to 1. Let's say I'm gonna add 100 and this add 1. If I don't turn this into integer, it's gonna give me an error. It's gonna say you can't doing this addition, right? And so this is basically what you're gonna do with the total if you just get those inputs, because all of them are string. When you are doing this addition, is actually a concatenating. You are concatenating all of them together. It's not what you're expecting as a total number of the summation of all those inputs. So you just don't get what you expected. This is a typically called a logical error. A logical error that does not give you what you want, versus the logical error versus the syntax error. The logical error is it's not giving you the crash of the program, just give you the ones that you are not expecting. Well, syntax error normally will crash the program because you violate the rules of the language itself. So that's pretty much all for today's video. And in this video, we actually introduced some concepts. What's the variable, and then what's the basic data types that includes a string, numeric data types, and mathematic operators. And what's a function? A function basically is a collection of programs that doing a certain task. And that's all.